All right, we're just going to dig into this one. I'm excited. It's extremely important to me. It's very valuable to what I do, and it's something that's becoming a buzzword, which is problematic. What I'm talking about is the word strategy. I'm going to talk about the difference in the word strategy and what a strategic plan or being strategic or having a real strategy actually means. Hey, I'm Steph Rubio, your go-to for no-nonsense chit-chat on growing a business and life that you actually love. Around here, we're rooted in who we are, even if we're still learning to love her, getting clear on where we want to go, and we're relentless in our pursuit to get there. We're clawing our way out of survival mode and learning to bet on ourselves. We get into the nitty-gritty of growth in life and in business, money, identity, boundaries, healing, leadership, parenting, partners, and all the messy bits in between. If you're ready to grow on your own terms, laugh a lot, possibly cry a little, maybe laugh until we cry if we're lucky, then hit subscribe and let's get into it. This is Rooted and Relentless, where strategy meets soul and scaling doesn't mean selling yours. Grab your notepad and hold on to your tits. This one's for you. If you hop on social media and you scroll for 2 minutes, you're going to see strategy in at least 15 different places. It's becoming a bit whitewashed, and I do have an idea on a couple of reasons for this. AI and ChatGPT being one of them. I think it comes about that way. I think it also comes about because folks are trying to get really creative in the online space on how they differentiate themselves. So people start throwing around the word strategy, and you see it in so many areas, and sometimes it's just not always real. So let's talk about what strategy is. Let's get into it. Essentially, a strategy is answering all of your questions: who, what, why, when, and where, and not in that order. Why would you answer who before you answer why? So you start with this big vision. Where are you going? What are you doing? And before we get into that, let me back it up a little bit and say that this is foundational to what I do in businesses and what I have done in businesses. And I also got my business degree last year, October 2024. A shout out. I put in a lot of work for that baby to get my degree in strategic management. The capstone course I took, which is just the course that you have to take to close it out to actually get your degree, was actually a strategic management course where I had to run a global shoewear company with a team of 4 people. And there was a simulation, but it was real. It was with folks all around the globe, other teams. And we came out in the top 10. You have to peel back all the layers and dig under the hood and understand everything you do in your business, how it's functioning, what you do, why you do it, who you do it for, and how all those interconnect. And they all interconnect to reach that why, that vision of the future and laying the map to get there. So for me, what I do in businesses now, small business, solopreneurs in the online space like we do, but I also did it with larger corporations and organizations with the COO as chief of staff, director of operations. So when I talk about doing strategy or developing strategy for your business or making strategic decisions, that's exactly what the heck I mean. Okay. It's not a buzzword here, but I still want to break down what that means for you so you know what to look for and why it's important and why I use that word specifically. So you know that what you're doing, the actions you're taking, align to where you want to go so that you're being strategic in your plan to get there. You're not just trying things and seeing if they work. I'm not saying like we don't test, but we test strategically. We formulate a plan on what we think we should do and why with actual research and grounded in knowledge. And yes, we test those and we try again and we pull different levers, but we don't just try it because. A framework, it's not a strategy. You might have been strategic in developing it, but a framework is something you say in that you could fit everybody into. That's not a strategy, unfortunately. That's not deeply considering where people want to go. I'm not saying you can't have a framework to help people develop a strategic plan, but you see what I'm saying here. So I'm not taking anything away from like specialists who say they bring strategy, but even a marketing strategist to bring strategy, to validate that, to actually be for real, they have to look at the bigger picture. That's exactly what a strategy is. So they can't just say, oh, let's start an email list and let's get you on social media and let's post 3 times a week. That's not a strategy unless they understand why, where you're trying to go. You can get strategic in which social media platforms you show it up in. So should you be on Instagram? Is that where your people are? Is that where you should be spending the most of your time, I should say? That's where you start asking all those why questions. Why am I doing this? A long to-do list, that's not a strategy. Having goals, that's a part of your strategy, but that's not an overall strategy. So let me walk you through, like if I was walking into an organization and they hired me as a chief of staff or chief operating officer and I was setting up a strategy for them, we start with that vision, that long-term, like you wake up in 3 years, what does this all look like? What do you actually want it to look like? Where are we going? That's where we start. We try to peel that back. We got to pull that out first. If not, we're just like rocking it. And when you start your business, that's completely okay. A lot of us start and we just want to make a little money and we just want to quit our jobs, or we just want to be home with our family a little bit more. Me too. Me too, baby. That's exactly why I did this. So I'm saying that that's okay. But at some point, you get to a stage in your business that I call the growth stage. You get past those nitty-gritty startup. I don't just call it that, by the way. Let's not make this about me. That's actually true. You have startup companies, you have growth companies, and you have mature companies that people are like, boom, we're doing it. Put it on repeat and let's just do it again. Does Apple come to mind? They do the same thing every year. They launch iPhones the same time every year and we eat it up. They're a mature company. They're a profitable company, okay? When you're a startup, sometimes you're not profitable. You're spending some money to get that traction and bring it in. Okay, I'm going down a rabbit hole. Clearly, I love this. So let's pull it back to the top. When we start with that vision, what I'm talking about is basically knowing where the hell you're going. You have to know where you're going to know what you should even be doing every day to get there. Unless, again, yeah, you're in your shaky startup phase, then do it, baby. Talk to clients, network, do what you can, validate it. But when you get to that point, you're like, okay, it worked. Like, what's next? What's more? Or maybe this isn't what I want to be doing day to day, or maybe I'm tired of being unsure all the time. But you get really clear on where the heck you're going. Your clear choices, intentional direction, and repeatable execution, essentially, and a lot of other things. Let's talk about those. Your positioning. I already said vision. That is answering where you're going. Positioning. You hear positioning a lot in the online space. It's very important. Your position in the market. How do you position what you do? Know why you're the right person for the right people, right? The decisions you make, the execution, measuring, all of those components. So again, if I was walking into an organization and I was working with the leadership team, this is what I would do. We would start with that vision. So in the vision, I say in 3 years, this is what I want it to look like. This is what I want to be doing. Then we break that down into achievable goals year by year. I'm talking about getting real into the weeds here. Step out of your office, get outside where you can get creative and remove all the bars from your mind, remove the ceiling from your mind, pretend that anything's possible, be bold, be honest with yourself, and get for real on what you would love the day-to-day to look like. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your business to look like? Okay. That's your vision 3 years from now. That's what we're going to march towards. We're going to peel that back to goals, and your goals need to be specific and smart. They're not like, I want to drink more water. I want to drink a gallon of water a day so that I have better looking skin. That's a goal. And I'm going to start doing that by the end of August, or now, because it's a gallon of water. But you see what I'm saying there? You time bound it. Then you take that goal and you develop action steps from there. Do this for every area of your business. When I say area and function, I mean you have sales, right? You have marketing, you have development, like what you're actually developing. That's your product, your service, and that's very close to your marketing because you want to figure out how to position it, price it, place it, all of those components. Then you consider your operations. What do you need to do on the back end to make all of this happen? Are you showing up in the right places? So we peel that back and then we start to set not just goals, we have actions, your actual to-do list component of it, right? To reach it, to measure your success. So if you've set 3 years from now what you want it to look like, and then you have goals that are smaller that you can march towards, and those goals need to have tactics or actions aligned to it. Like, I'm going to post on social media 3 times a week, specifically on LinkedIn, because that's where my folks are. Like, you turn that into a task to develop your content, and you do need to be strategic in your content. But it's not like I want to go viral on TikTok so more people will see me. And what you're doing is one-on-one. You don't need more people to see you. If you do one-on-one offers, how many people can you realistically help if you do one-on-one offers, right? Now, if you're doing a membership and there's not a limit of people, and more people means more money, and more people and more money means more folks that you can actually help, and you're passionate about that, then that goal is going to be different. What you need to do and how you need to show up is going to be different. That's essentially what a strategy is. It's answering all those who, how, where, when, why questions. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully it starts to peel back the layers of understanding. You should be able to put a strategic plan on page, on a paper, and it should be those components. You should be able to see the vision, and then you should be able to see actual objectives you want to march to. What do you want to be doing, and what is going to determine that it was successful? So if you're launching a new offer, that's a component of it. What makes it successful to you? And then the tactics and the to-do list you need to do, that's where you try and monitor. So you have to be strategic in taking the actions needed to get there, and we won't know that unless we know where there is. Then we walk backwards. You then, congratulations, have a roadmap to reach your big, scary, audacious, exciting, bold vision for the future. Well, That's a wrap on this episode of Rooted and Relentless. If it made you laugh, nod along, or grab that cute little notebook of yours and scribble something down, please hit me with the SSR, subscribe, share, and review, as in leave a review. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram at virtually_Steph Rubio and tell me what you're reading this week. Seriously, I live for a good book moment. Thanks for hanging. Bye.